What's up, fellas? Welcome back to another episode of Survimon with Survey, my Pokemon clone tutorial. In the last episode, in the real last episode, we got to this point that I'll show you right here. But I don't know if you guys caught my little fake episode this morning, where I did like a little explanation, review, pre-lecture, whatever, of how to do collision that we're going to do in this video. With the rooms and the walls and all the math and spacing out. But go watch that if you haven't already. I saw one guy watched it. I just want to address this in case this guy's watching, so I don't have to be all in the back of my head. But I got like a nasty comment on that video, and I was like, I was kind of bummed. I was stressed out this morning, like didn't have a lot of time. I really I want to make videos for you guys every day. And I feel like that's my deliverable to you guys. And when I don't, I feel really bad. So I wanted to at least get something out. I only had like 10 minutes, so I filmed that. And I was like, this isn't great, but it's like an IOU video. And then later in the day, I'll film this one, and we'll be all good. But somebody commented, like, you're wasting my time with this video. Like, this isn't good enough. Like, you're not showing me anything. It's just kind of like, well... I was like, all right, bro, well, you don't have to watch the video, so I do feel bad if I waste people's time, but I feel like you can just kind of click on a different video and not get all angry and ramble at me in the comments. But first negative comment, so props to everybody else that's ever watched my videos that hasn't left, just an ugly comment like that. But shout out to that guy here. We're going to do it, so this is what you wanted. We're going to do it. We're going to show you how to do it. Okay. Let's get into it. So here we have game setup. This is how we kind of built the map and put the image on it in the background. I'm actually going to further expand and compartmentalize this to have a separate script for map setup. And, I'm all self-conscious now. This is a stupid way of doing it, but this is my, I'm not saying this is the best way by any means, but this is the way that I have figured how to do all this stuff. So if there's a better way, please give me suggestions. But basically here, we don't need to have this map anymore. We're going to have everything kind of on the background. But we're going to kind of put that into map setup. So build map, let's say, instead of build map, let's call this build background to be more specific. And then we're going to go into the map setup, and then we're going to say export function build map. Can't forget to always import show and find. Show and find, my favorite little functions. Fix this guy. So when we build the map, what are we doing? We're stealing these two. Kind of tweaking them. So we definitely want the background to get built on the screen so that it can move around but still be the same size. And then we can put stuff on the background. The screen is here, right? And the background is here. But there can be all this stuff kind of outside of the bounds of the background. So the background doesn't have to be any bigger than the screen. It just has stuff outside of its walls. But it'll still work as long as it's attached to the background, as long as that is the parent element. This should all work, physically speaking. So let's go ahead and paste these guys in here. We don't need a map separate. Really, we want the rooms to get built, okay? So how are we going to do this? First off, let's say we can have multiple rooms. So let's let rooms is going to be this kind of array here. And let's say room 1. Okay, we don't have room 1 yet. Or we'll call it room 0 to keep its index in the right spot. So let room 0 equal, what is it going to be? So we need a class for this room object. This will be our first class in this code. So let's make a room class. And really, this is going to be, there's going to be rooms and walls and all these things, but they're all just going to kind of be elements on the map. So they're all kind of div objects. So let's say class map object. All these, and they're going to be represented by div squares. So map object. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Constructor. And basically all it has is a height, a width, and a position, and the X and the Y. So constructor, we'll open it like this. Just so I don't get those red lines. I don't like those things. So we'll do height, we'll do width, height, and we'll do left and top. So we got horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical. And actually left and top should be X and Y. And we can kind of keep these straight by the X is the distance. So X is left, but really Y is like negative top, okay? Does that make sense? So really the 0, 0 point for a room would be if its top and its left are both on the corner. So yeah, let me just finish this up. I don't want to confuse you guys. Width equals width. This dot height equals height. And if I'm wasting anyone's time, please either speed up the video to ×2 speed. I think if you can understand what I'm saying still, that's a good idea. And, you know, otherwise just, you know, don't, you know, go ahead and don't watch this video. I hate to say it, but that's always an option. All right, so let's say, actually, so room is going to be a subclass of map object. So extends map object, I think. That's how you do a kind of a subclass. Inherit all these properties. So constructor, and then we need to do this. I think we still need to do this, and then is it super dot? Wait, hold on. Let me cut out and remember how to do subclasses in here. It's been a while. And I usually just copy like existing stuff I have. Okay, yeah, it was just super width. And then can I just do all of these? Does that work? Hopefully. Doesn't look like it's angry with me. Alright, so let room 0, not let room equal 0. Let room 0 equal new room. It's got to have a width of, let's start out with 100. We'll do 110 by 110. Which means its X has to be -5. And its Y has to be 5. Because then, when we actually make this room down here, so when we build the map, we're going to do a for loop. Did I show you guys how to do for loops? Well, hopefully I showed you guys, or you already know, because I sure don't. I'm putting an if statement in a for loop. So let I equal 0. This is your counter variable. Oh my god, literally folding out here. Let I equal 0. I plus plus. Or we'll do I is less than rooms dot length. And you know, I should definitely be doing a for each loop here. It's pretty basic. But I want you guys to at least know how for loops work first. So a for loop, it's going to make this counter variable here called I, which will iterate by 1 every time the loop runs, and the loop will terminate once this condition is false. Okay, so if it starts at 0, it'll work once, and then it'll get to 1, and this will no longer be true because 1 is not less than 1. And then it will move on to this next line here. But really we just want to make a room, and we'll name it based on its index here. So room 0 is going to be its ID, and then its dimensions here we have, well, let's actually extract, say let room, so we don't have to always say rooms I, right? And that's why you'd use a for each loop, because it would automatically know that you want to access this variable here that's a specific list item. So when you iterate through an array, it's like a for each loop. It's a lot easier in Python if you guys use that. So room I dot width, and we will just go ahead and delete that and copy this to make it easier. Oh, no, not room I. That's why I did that. Alright, room I dot height. And this will be X and this will be minus dot Y, right? Because we want vertical positive to be up, not, you know, the top value. We could use bottom technically, but I always go top and left. I don't know why. Just the way I learned it. You can use bottom and right for the offset. And if you set all the offsets to 0, it'll basically make the height and the width 100. So you only need 4 of those. You need either height and width and top and left, or you need bottom, right, top, and left. Because if you have all of the offsets, it'll actually set the dimension. Because there's only one possible shape that could have those offsets. Anywho, a little tangent there for you guys. Let's go ahead and... Okay, so we do have to add a new property here to our room. And we'll call it carpet, I guess. So we have to put in this main constructor. Oh, I was like, it starts with a C. This is what I get when I code and talk to you guys at the same time. So this dot carpet equals carpet. Okay, so now we can actually, the carpet is like the, you know, the grass check texture thing here. So really we just want to feed in this part of it, right? And then into here as a string. And then we can concatenate it with this. And then we'll do plus. And then we'll make another string here. And the PNG. Right? Right there. Is that what we want? No, we do want it there. Silly me. Okay. And then instead of grass texture here, we'll have room.carpet. Does that make sense? So let's also take room and plug in the I here. So this should make ourselves a room with that same background and put it on here. Now we need to make sure we build this map on game setup. Tie the loop back up from where we were at. So we'll do map setup. And you know, we're not making any progress yet, so we need to import map setup, but it should do it automatically, hopefully. No? Sheesh, I hate import map setup. Did I not just make that function? Oh, build map. That would make sense. Make sure you get your stuff straight, guys. So if we just type build map here, it should automatically import it. There we go. We just have to fix this up. Gotta love VS Code, right? Keeps everything working. We're not trying to code on a text document out here, a TXT file. Alright, build map. The right API makes a huge difference. Plug in VS Code. So there doesn't need to be any variables in there. Everything's covered. Let's see, or parameters rather. Now let's see what happens when we load this up. And we get an error. What's our error? Can you guys predict? Requested module does not provide an export name build map. Did we forget to save? Did we forget to save map setup? Game setup does not provide an export. What? Build map. Wait, what? What is it saying? What's the problem? Quest module game setup does not provide an export named build map. Where's this error? Menu functions. Huh? Oh, okay. Yes, so this needs to be build background now. That's right, because we swapped it. So build background. Nice. Now do we get no errors? Oh, we get no errors, but I think we get an error here. Okay, I don't know what else do we do wrong. Div maker is not defined. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and grab this and put it. Oops, you guys can't see what I'm doing. We'll grab this line and we'll put it right here. Okay. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Yeah, so we're gonna be making slow progress. Honestly, if you want like a real like good solid video tutorial, like you're not gonna get it from this series because we're kind of vlogging like this specific game. So if you're jumping into one specific video, you're not gonna learn one specific skill. You kind of just have to watch the series and learn from me as we go. But here's the room. Nothing has changed here except the actual functionality of the room is defined as an object, which is helpful. So remember, I don't know if you guys watched my video, but we had kind of a Microsoft Paint thing. We were talking about big T and little W and whatever. All that is just the math of how we collide into the walls and stuff. So first off, let's make a physics.js. Alright, and we'll import show and find as our very first move here. You guys, am I not zoomed in on VS Code now? Oh, there we go. Much better. You guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so pretend the video just started here if this is what you want to learn for collisions, but also pretend like you already had your rooms from last time. The most important function is this logical one here, and export function inside. It's going to be a Boolean check of if the player, most importantly, but you know, any object being inside of a room. Okay, so you kind of have two divs, and you're checking if one is inside the other one. Okay, so what do we have? We have so we need a inside object and an outside object. So the inside object's the smaller one, basically. So we'll say let x equal xi. We're getting into like physics here. Let xi equal inside object dot x. Okay, and then we'll have xo is the outside object x, and then we'll have yi and yo. And yo are the y's. Okay, and then we have, so these are the these are essentially, yeah, the position of one of the lines of something. So the top edge, this would be the top and left edge, basically. And so we'll say left I and left O, and the y is minus, so it's kind of like the bottom edge, really. Bottom I, bottom O. Okay, and so we need the right edge still and the top edge. How are we gonna get those? Right edge here of the inside and outside object. I know this is looking really tedious. You know, we can probably reorganize these, but I just want to take you through my thought process. Top I, top O. Alright, inside object Y plus inside object dot height. Alright. And boop. And this will be outside object. Alright, and then these will be the width of the inside and the outside object. So when you're copying and pasting, you can run into some errors where you forget to change some of the stuff. So just always double check. I think I did everything good there. So these are all the edges. So let's say let, and we'll do left, bottom, right, top. So let's just comment this here. Left, bottom, right, top. Oh, actually, we can just group it as an object. So let's make a class edges is, oh, forget how to freaking code, not equals. So we'll do, again, left, bottom, right, top. And we'll say this dot left. You guys know the drill. Oops. Equals. And fill in all these guys. Doesn't matter what order, as long as you match. So I know this looks ugly. Normally you'd want to keep it in the same order, but it's all fine and dandy. All right, now we can say let O edges is gonna be new edges, and we'll just plug in left O, bottom O, right O, right O, bro, top O, top O, and we need to do the eyes. Inner edges. Okay, so all this to convert everything to edges. The problem is currently and the problem is currently our player, I think, player data only has an X and a Y. So we just need to say I think that our height is 10 and our width is 10 as well. And that came from right here. Our dimensions are 10 by 10, and you know, we like to center the player on the screen. You could put the player anywhere on the screen, but he moves on the background. So currently, if our X and Y are 0 there, and we know what they are for the room, let's go back to our physics. Where are we? So inside, we need 2 conditions to be met. Okay, so let's say let condition 1 equals, okay. We need basically the inner object's left edge to be farther to the right than the outer object's left edge, right? So right now, the higher a number is, the farther to the right it is for X. So we want to say that the inner edge is greater, so left I is greater than left O. It's that simple. All right, but simultaneously, so let condition 2, we want the right O to be greater than the right I. And really we can combine, well, so we could say condition, but we really have 2 sets of 2 conditions. So let's teach you guys here. You can say and, this is an and operator. Now both of these have to be true or the whole thing will be false. And the condition 2 is that the bottom of the bottom of the inside one has to be higher than the bottom of the outside one, but simultaneously the top of the outside one has to be greater than the top of the inside one. And if all these are true, then you're inside. We could say equal to or greater than, but that's fine. So if now both of these have to be true. If condition 1 and condition 2 return, well, actually, because this is returning a Boolean, we can literally just return this. Return this guy. I was going to say if this is true, return true, otherwise return false, but you're literally just returning the if condition. So here, you know, I made these objects, it's kind of pointless. I was going to like say I edges dot left, you know. But same diff. We don't really need this. I'm gonna keep it just because I put work into it. You know, maybe it'll be useful later. But either way, we have this inside function now. Now, how do we stop ourselves from leaving the room? If we're inside a room, we can analyze whether we're touching an edge, okay? So let's say export function, say edges touching. And here we just need object 1 and object 2. There doesn't really have to be a bigger and a smaller one. But how do we know if edges are touching? Well, they will actually be equal. So we kind of need like a general rounding point of how stuff's moving around. So if we look at our interval here, we move by 0.5 at a time. So it should all be equal. So we're not moving by any like weird we're not moving by any weird decimal amount that won't actually line up. I think it will line up. Otherwise, you'd have to kind of round off your position and you'd say things are colliding not necessarily when they equal each other, but when they are within 0.1 of each other, you know? But I think we're on enough of a grid system here. 0.5% of the container. We have 200 spaces that we can be on the screen. It's like a 200 by 200 grid. So that all being said, if an edge is touching, really, let's see. So this is why I did want to edgeify stuff. So function edgeify. Sounds kind of weird, right? And you're like, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm crazy, but I'm going to make it work. So edgeify an object. It's going to return this edge object. So let edges equal, and we'll just copy this whole thing. So if we can edgeify an object, then we can deal with it in the inside and the edges touching really easily. So let's convert an object from its height, width, x and y to its edges, basically, is what this function is going to do. Now let's say we don't need any of these outside lines. So let's get rid of every other line here. This can just be object. And these don't need eyes. And then we can export it as this nice object here, and we'll just copy this and get rid of this. So now we can work, oops, edges equals edgeify inside object. Boop. And then we'll do O edges is outside object, and then we will have to see, I knew this would work out. We will have to convert all these to their respective properties. O edges dot right. So you guys get the idea here, right? We are simply making it easier to work with edges so that we can literally say if the right is equal to the left on this edges touching thing. And I'll actually work like this. Bottom, I know it's the same format, except bottom and top. Cool. Clean that up. All right, we haven't tested this, so now we get really clean that up. If we return edges here, we won't get any problems. All right, now let ob1. Actually, we can literally just say edgeify. Yeah, let's do let ob1 edge equal edgeify Actually, let's just say ob1 because we know we're going to be working with edges. Edgeify the object 1 and object 2. Be 2. So they're both edging super hard. And now we say, let's just say let, okay, we'll do it like this. If ob1 dot right or dot left equals ob2 dot left, and we'll say let touching edges is a blank list, and then we'll add to this list, and then we'll return the list. Touching edges plus dot push is how you add to a list. We'll say we'll add left, just the string left for now. I could add the code 0, so we don't have to have a string, you know, because we know what it means. So it's kind of like an enumeration. I never use enumerations. So let's do this for all the other directions. What do we have? Left, bottom, right, top. Trying to keep it in the same order. Oops. Oops. All right. And top. Okay, so we're basically, you know, the maximum you would have is 2 if you're in a corner. But you're going to get out a list of what edges you're touching. Okay. And then let's say return edges touching. Okay. So now, oops, I don't know why I did that. Wait, why is it? Oh. Touching edges. Ugh. So this should return a list of what we're, now we actually have to go into the interval. All right. If keys down, let's say try move up. So now we have to say, and we might move some of this around, function try move up, but it's just nice to have it in the interval since all our movement's happening on the interval. So this is what happens when you try to move up, but we have to say for, and this is where it gets complicated, right? We have to go back to map setup, and we have to do this. Class, bear with me here, class map, constructor, rooms, let rooms equal rooms. And we'll say let map 0 new map rooms 0. Okay, so what map, so this has to be an export, and this has to be a map, and this has to be map.rooms.length, right? Because now, even though we made the map here, when we set up the game, we'll import it here. Oh, and we can just put it like that. Now we'll do it like this. Okay. So map 0 is kind of the current map. So let's say, there's going to be a different way to do this when we have multiple maps. But for now this works. Let's say back on interval. We'll do export let current map is going to be nothing to start out, but when we set it up and build it, we will say, and this has to be an export that gets imported and changed. Did we have it as an export? Yes. Save that. Import current map from this guy. And actually, because we can't actually set the whole object. Let's say let current equal an object. There we go. Now we have our current object, and its property is map, and that's blank, and that gets set here on game setup. Yes, tying it all together. Oops, import current. Let me say current dot map equals map 0. Now we go on interval. We'll have access to this map for okay. Now we can get into this for loop here. That's right, and we'll say try to move up. Let rooms equal current dot map dot rooms. Yes, you guys are finally seeing me break through this coding paralysis and get to the nitty-gritty, dirty 30 of what we're doing in this game. Okay, so let's go through all the rooms, and we'll say if inside. So okay, try move up. We'll say let can move is true. You can move, right? No reason why you can't move. We're gonna check all the rooms. Are you inside one of those rooms? So we have player position, right? And inside. Okay, so we have to import inside. But did we actually grab it from physics? If inside should show up, if we save that. Yep, there we go. So we'll check each room. So you're good to move. If you're inside a room though, and if your edge is touching in that room, same script here, edge is touching. That was the function, right? Yep. If your edge is touching in that room includes the top edge, which here was top edge 3. If that includes 3, suddenly can move is false. And now, only if you can move will you be able to move up 5, okay? Try moving up. Let's go ahead and replicate this function for every direction. This will be left, down, right. Right, down, left. All right, and we're gonna have x minus here. We're gonna have y minus and x plus. Okay, and the only thing that's gonna change other than that is if you're inside a room and it includes, what was it? Left is 0. The down is it's the bottom 1. Where am I? Down is 1. And if we have 3, 0, 1, this one must be 2. 4, right. Double check. Yes. Okay. And now all we need to do is replace. Try move left. Try move down. That. And try move right. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Oh, let's see if this works. If so, I will take a little break, but I'll keep making this video because we've got more stuff to get done. We got an error, right? Straight away. I don't think we saved every document. We did a lot there. We did a lot without bug fixing. Identifier rooms has already been declared at map setup 29. That seems like a big deal. Yep, I don't. Oh, sorry guys. I'm looking at this. This is what I had. I don't know how to code. Should be this dot rooms equals rooms. Okay. So let's see if that fixes everything. Nope. Still got something. Room 0 is not defined at map setup 33. Rooms 0. This should just be rooms. But really this should be rooms 0. And this should be room 0, 0. Because it's the 0 with room on the 0 with map. You know, these are the rooms on map 0. And this is the 0 with room on rooms 0. So it's 0, 0. But anyway, indexing stuff. Still an error. Rooms is not defined. What? Oh. Wait. What? Hold on. Wait. I didn't read that bug properly. Hang on, guys. Rooms not defined at map setup 33. Which is right here. Oh. Yes. I didn't finish fixing the other bug. Hooray. Still an issue with the room generation, clearly. Ooh. Cannot structure property page view of E as it is undefined. That can't be my... What? There we go. Rooms is not defined at map setup 39. Looks like all my issues are in map setup here. Oh, just the same issue as before, but I didn't fix this one. And just like that. Oh, did we get an error? No. We just went straight through the edge. So something's wrong here. I guess we'll have to burn through the logic to see what's happening. We'll focus on one wall for now. So we're doing try move up when we hit W. We'll take you through a little bug fixing work here. Physics. Okay. When you try to move up to the interval, try move up. Do we even refresh this? Maybe that's the issue. Maybe it was simple. No. Alright. So let's take us through here. Trying to move up. Alright, we want inside, so we should show I here to make sure we're inside the room, first of all. So I'm gonna do a little bug check to see if we're to see if we're inside this first room here in the console. So let's refresh, clear all the errors out. New game. We're moving up. We're moving up. Okay, we're not inside a room. So that's our first mistake. Oh, we have inside, but nothing to show for it. So let's say player position and room. I'll say let room equal, I thought we already did this. Let room equal rooms I. Alright. Well, I thought we did that. So now we have to update like this to fix it. Hopefully this is the only thing, because I feel like I coded that really well. There shouldn't be any functional issues, just maybe some typos. Grab this guy. So we will see. The moment of truth is coming up. But right now, can there be any other issues, or can we crash into the wall like a normal person? Oh, still an issue. So do I still have that bug flag thing here? Okay, so I'm still not inside anything. That's no fun. So yeah, we're trying to move up. Is this the right? So inside object is the player position. The outside object is that. All right, let's go ahead and Here's a thought. Let's show inside object dot y, and we'll show the room's y outside object. So the room's y should not be changing, but the players should. So another little flag here. We'll refresh to get rid of that. Still not getting anything displaying. What? Wait, what? So inside is not even getting ran, right? Because we would show something here. So that's kind of a good sign. Let's see what else we did wrong. An interval. Okay, so this for loop is happening. Show I. When I try to move up, is the for loop? What? How could this be? Cancel. No, nothing is showing anything. What? Try move up. Is try move up not happening? Keys down dot W. That's how the player moves. It's by trying to move up. Oh, wait. There's only one. Oh. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Another typo, of course. If I is less than rooms dot length. Did you guys catch it? I hope you guys caught all my typos and are just laughing at me because you're expert coders. Please work this time. Please, Wixky. Come on, I'm not even gonna look at the bugs. Oh, looks like I can't move at all. And I'm running into some other errors. So we're making progress with the errors here. Okay. Console. Edges touching dot includes is not a function. Huh. Oh. Yep, another typo. All these typos are kind of in the same place. I got sloppy. So edging touches has to be a function here. It's not, yeah. Edges touching, it returns that list, and then it's whether the list includes those numbers. Yeah, still an issue. What is it this time, console? Tell me why. Cannot read properties of undefined. Edgify 13. Sounds like another typo to me. Physics. Tell me why. Left is object. What's the problem now? Wait, did I read that error correctly? Okay, am I getting the same error? At try move up at edges touching at edgify. So edges touching 37. We use edgify on object 1. Edges touching. Oh. I literally just fixed it, but I fixed it wrong. It's like, you don't know how to fix anything. So edges touching, we really need this. Not just parentheses, but we need those same parameters as the inside. I wanted my code to work even more for me than is possible. Just wanted it to be even easier and more English than ever before. Still an issue? Hello? Oh no. No, I'm just freezing up because looks like, okay, it's telling me that if I try to move up, if I try to move up and I show I, let's just show it here. Now it looks like we actually have a functional issue, which is scary stuff. Because there's no actual error. And if we refresh, we're getting like no errors. We're just freezing when we're not trying to. At least something kind of works, right? Alright, first of all, I'm trying to move up. And I think we're triggering this physics thing. Yeah, we have show inside object.y and outside object.y. Oh, here we go. More typos. These should not be equals. They should be comparators. It's a whole different operator. Oh, now we bypassed the wall. Alright, you guys. I got it to work. I didn't want to include all of my struggles on camera because I don't think that's a very good teaching moment for you guys. But we can crash into all these walls. So what went wrong and what did we have to fix? So it turns out nothing new was really wrong. We actually had to fix some old stuff. So first of all, this is what we had on player data before. We had x of 0 and y of 0. Why is that wrong? Let's just not save and reopen this so you guys can see. Oh, it looks like it's saved anyway. Hold on, let me X this out and we'll fix it to what we have now at 45. Alright, so what is our coordinate system here? We got all kinds of confusion. The way we want to do it with our collision is we said that the left and the x are the same. So that a left, if you line up on the left, that's your left edge, and then your left plus your width is your right edge. Okay? And so does that make sense if this is at 0? No, not really, because the player's not at 0 here if this is the origin. Right, because we were kind of centering it at the player or centering at the center, but really the origin of x, or x of 0, is this line. Okay, and in fact the player is at 45 really, because you'd say he's at 50. The middle's at 50, but his left edge, which is what the x is at 45. Okay, and so that is the first fix we had to make to put the player in the right position, because the background moves with the player. And so the other issue is actually how we display let me X this out so you can see how we display the map and the room is based on this same issue here. Let me go back in time again. On this guy, look, we're trying all these different things, tinkering with it off camera. What did we have it originally as? Oh, looks like there we hit the actual point. Okay, so we had it here. We had it at -5 plus 5. And I think it was supposed to be -5, but we switched the y around thinking, all we had to do was switch it. But really, that's not true. If you want to figure out where the y is, based on this weird offset, I drew a little diagram of it, again, to get the formula. But what we found eventually is that it is 100. So the top, if you get the top in terms of the y and the height, you need the height of the room as well, or whatever object. The top is 100, the entire screen, minus the height. So you flip, right, you get 100 takes you from top to bottom. You flip the height all the way around, and then you subtract the y, and then you get back to the top. Okay, so it's 100 plus the, or minus both the room height and the room y. And I tried doing plus the room y, but then I realized that, the y here is -5, and so it flipped back to positive. And in any case, when we finally tested it out, this worked. And so now moving forward, the gist of what I'm trying to say here is that, we did all these physics functions given a certain coordinate system kind of in our head, that the x is the left, and the x is the left edge, x plus width is right edge, right? And the bottom is the y. And it's like, okay, well, it's weird if we use top. We really should have just, to stay consistent and to make all this like a lot easier, we could have just, and I would do this next time, so I'm learning as I'm going. If we go to what is it? Not maps. I have document setup and div maker. Instead of using a top here, we could have just set a bottom value, and that would just give us the x we wanted. But I'm so used to working in top. Maybe we'll switch that around so it's not so complicated. Should we just do that super fast right now? No, it would be too much of a hassle because we have it kind of locked in like this. But I think as long as we follow this formula that we have here for the rooms, for any other object we make, this 100 minus the y minus the height. We should be good. Of course, you want your code to be running smoother. You don't want to be running unnecessary calculations all the time. Maybe we'll make the switch to bottom. That's definitely a good idea. Oh, and the reason why, you learn left and top in HTML because when you're writing a page, you go from the top left towards the bottom right. And the HTML is primarily just text-based web games. So that's the little pitfall we ran into today. But at the end of the day, we're happy because we can do this. And the point of this is let's not be stupid and only demonstrate one room. Let's go to map setup and we'll change the dimensions of this room to like a 20 or how about 20 by 50 hallway. And then let's see here, we got width, height, x, y. The x should be 40, I believe, and the y should be 25 to center it on the player. Let's give it a go. Look at that, we're in this tiny room and all the physics still works, yay! So that's how you do that. Now we can code any room. I actually built a program where you can reverse engineer these rooms by actually like drawing the room on here, and then it'll save it as a room object that you can walk around in. So, that was what I did in my last game. In any case, I hope this was more helpful than my last video. I hope it wasn't too much of a waste of time. I'm going to try to edit it down, sorry to throw shade on that guy all day. But, he made me salty. Bridget was mad. She was defending me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And make sure to stay tuned because we're going to get this game going real good. And leave a like, leave a comment if you need help on anything I just did. And subscribe and have a good day.